been hard for y'all to track those. I feel like.
Hey, welcome to Savage Sundays with GM Answulf. Starting something new here.
Hello, hello.
And the floor
Hello.
is yours, sir.
All right, so let's start with a recap of last week. Last week we had our we went back in time to do a prequel adventure leading up to our main adventure, and introduced some of the characters. We introduced Maeve to the rest of the group. But who would like to? Let me share my screen here for some memory refreshers. Who's got a good grasp of what happened and remembers what happened last week? And because we need to catch Oak up on everything.
Yeah, I
Yeah, it
wasn't
might
here.
be fun to it might be fun to do this from each player's perspective, because I think we each had a different
Yeah,
perspective of
that's
what was
great.
going on, because we didn't really know each other even at the end.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Why don't you? So yeah, Craig, why don't you start with Ezekiel's?
Yeah, for sure. So, it
Or maybe we should
remind
save
me.
yours for the last. Yours was pretty crazy.
Oh, you want me to do mine last?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I can't remember the name of our patron. I forgot since it's been
Bigby.
2 weeks since we played. Oh, Bigby, of course. So Bigby is a patron of the Church of Almighty in the city that we found ourselves in.
Link bar.
Uh, in Lake Bar.
Yeah.
And my character Ezekiel is a paladin of Almighty, and I was tabbed to help protect and watch over a, a powerful artifact, or at least an artifact of unknown power that Bigby was showing at essentially a gathering of um, the powerful and wealthy uh, mages, magicians, collectors. At any rate, this not quite a market, but an exhibition of all these powerful artifacts. Um, and I tended to stay close to the artifacts to guard it, but also there was my longtime compatriot Barnaby, and he was spending his time, from my perspective, hunting down a rumor that there was um, an evil druid, or a druid of ill repute, that was going to attempt to steal artifacts from this exhibit. And so I spent most of the time kind of staying close um, to Bigby's artifact, but kind of also keeping an eye on what Barnaby was doing. And so, I could tell Barnaby was kind of scoping out the other patrons, and he started to take an interest in two particular individuals, and doing his best to signal me, but I didn't do a great job picking up on his signals until it was a little bit too late. And then suddenly the entire exhibit was beset by, maybe dog-sized, very aggressive reptiles, and the place erupted into chaos. But as the chaos started to ensue, Barnaby had certainly figured out who might be the root cause, or the cause, or the source of the reptiles, and was able to point out who that was. And I noticed that person was escaping the exhibit hall when everybody else was attempting to fight, and so I gave chase. And as I followed that, uh, who appeared to be a druid, when I followed him out of the hallway with, I think he had a few compatriots with him, I immediately face planted as I hastily tried to give chase.
Let me
I
add something
gathered.
real quick too. Before you did that, you noticed that that Bigby's artifact got stolen. That you
Oh,
were
that's right. That's right.
supposed to be protecting her.
The first
When it
thing I
got out.
did, you're right, because when the chaos broke out, the first thing I looked was to see where Bigby's artifact was, and it was gone. And so, thinking that for sure that the only people fleeing the scene most likely had something to do with both the reptiles and the theft of Bigby's artifact, I gave chase. And as I hastily made way through the crowd, just as I reached the hallway that they escaped through, I lost my footing, face planted, was able to gather was able to gather myself, get up, and begin chasing him again. Certainly had lost ground. Um, I uttered a prayer to Iomade to assist me in finding and being able to make up the ground. Didn't get an answer, or at least it felt like I didn't get an answer. And as I rounded the corner and went down the stairs to the exit of the overall exhibit hall, they were nowhere in sight. And as I burst into the city streets, it was clear there's no way I was going to find them. And I decided that I would potentially just run in a random direction. But first, I looked around and attempted to persuade the nearest by person to at least tell me where maybe they saw a group of people run. And the person that I grabbed hastily and forcefully just happened to be the person that stole Bigby's artifact.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was what a dramatic task in Savage Worlds, and you had to get and you were rolling terribly. You had to get 4 successes, and then the last roll was like
I think it was 6 or something. It was 6 successes, and I had 0 going into there because
Something like
for every
that,
one
yeah.
that I gained a couple, lost one for a critical failure, and then exploded on that last action for 6 successes
Right.
because
Yeah,
it
that
kept
was
rolling
awesome.
8s on an explosion.
That
It was crazy.
That was awesome. That was awesome. Yeah. So you caught the guy there at the very end of the session. I think that was a pretty good recap. Who'd like to go next?
Landry, why don't you go ahead?
Okay, I heard everything that Dad was saying because I just got back from heating up my food, but I had my headphones in. But just let me know what exactly we're doing. I know that we're recapping.
Yeah, so recap. Craig brought up a good idea to recap from each player's perspective, since y'all had kind of very different adventures all happening at the same time. So, why don't you give us a recap of last week's adventure from your character's perspective?
Okay, so I show up to this gathering of people. As from what I've heard, I think I've been working with Bigby for a little bit of time, and he kind of alluded to me that there's a little bit of mischief going on. So I show up to this thing, or Maeve shows up to this thing, and Maeve is kind of very out of place, and she knows it, but she doesn't really care about that part. She's more interested to hear what other people are saying, and so she's eavesdropping in on all the guests and stuff. And then
she's out of place because she is a elf druid in the city.
yeah, right, yeah, a little bit taller than everybody else, and then and just poorly dressed. And then Barnaby comes over and starts to bother her while she's listening to the people talk, and she's clearly not interested, but Barnaby keeps persisting until she finally gets him to go away. And then in the midst of things, big giant like lizard thingies start appearing out of everywhere, or out of every corner, and just like literally everywhere. And so she turns into a little bird thing, flies up to get a better view of the area, and tries to take out a few where they're in higher concentration. And then after all that kind of, finishes up, I feel like, oh yeah, I remember she went kind of crazy, and everybody else was looking at her real funny. And then somewhere in all this, Barnaby does something dumb. I don't remember what exactly he said or what exactly he was doing, but I know that she kind of lost her cool and started to charge up at him, and Bigby had to have her stop doing that. Oh, it was like a playful threat or something to Bigby, I think.
Barnaby almost killed Bigby.
It was a crit fail on an attack that hit Barnaby.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. The one part you left out is you spotted that suspicious. You were the first one to spot that suspicious guy.
Oh,
that
that's right. Yeah,
that
I remember
Ezekiel
that.
wound up chasing. Do you remember that piece at all?
Yeah, I remember it happening, but I'm not entirely sure how Maeve ended up reacting to that part.
Yeah, I think you were watching him. Um,
Oh, and that's
while
why I was kind of upset.
Barnaby was
Yeah.
distracting you. Barnaby was suspicious of you, and you were suspicious of that guy. And to refresh everyone's memory, part of what was going on, the reason Big B wanted y'all here, is because there's been rumors that druids, that a band of druids have been stealing artifacts in the city. And this guy was dressed kind of like a druid, is what I think why he got your attention, Maeve.
Cool.
Barnaby, Mike, you
Yeah.
remember? You're always good with your recaps. What do you remember?
Yeah, so we were coming to a great hall that was filled with artifacts for some type of event. Barnaby is connected with the Pathfinder Society and serves as a kind of a apprentice for Bigby, and Bigby had an artifact or two in display and was concerned about recent thefts that have been happening with druids in the area, or they're thought to be druids, dark druids, that were stealing items of magic and artifacts for some nefarious purpose. So the purpose of Barnaby being there, along with his faithful friend and paladin, was to suss out these and spot these druids if possible, and then watch for any shenanigans. And sure enough, he spotted one right off the bat. An elf all decked out in green, and might as well had a T-shirt on that said Team Druid. So he was watching her real close. And is your character a boy or a girl? I can't remember.
She's a girl.
Yeah. Okay. So watching her real close, and noticed that she had taken a very strong interest in another person in the room that maybe could have been a druid, but didn't look as druidy as the one that he was watching. So he was while he decided to divide and conquer. So he got his compatriots' attention and waving him over. But he's a bit of an oaf. He was having trouble. Zeke was having trouble understanding it. So Barnaby created a big red stain on
That's right.
the guy's cloak, green cloak,
Yep,
and
marked it.
was very easy to spot after that. So having assigned Zeke one mark, Barnaby then turned and started doggedly pursuing Maeve, who unfortunately had no idea why she was being harassed. But that's okay, because later they would become great friends. So wait, that part hasn't happened yet. So around that time, things started going crazy. Lizards started dropping from the sky, and they were very dangerous creatures, shooting out shocks. So we got into position, started killing them, and actually Barnaby was having a great time blasting them from up above, and then even managed to save his boss. With a really spectacular blast, blowing one of the lizards up just as it was about to take out its throat. But then on the very next blast, he shot the boss right in the face, almost killing him. And for some reason, Maeve really reacted strongly to that, and that's where things kind of stopped right when we were about to come to blows. And that's
Yep.
it. That's the story.
That sounds pretty. That sounds pretty good. Pretty accurate from what I remember too. All right. So a little housekeeping cleanup from that one. And we kind of ended the session there, but I wanted to go through. We're going to resume like the next day. But I want to go through a little bit of cleanup from that session. So the lizards had mostly been defeated. The last of the lizards were killed. Barnaby, you had shot Bigby in the face, and he's got a big burn mark on his face. He's very upset with you. In this world, the healing is not like super. It's not like D&D healing where you can just get healed. And I mean, there is magic healing, but effects tend to linger and stuff. So Bigby's going to have a nice big scar on his face for a while at least from your shot. He was and he's very upset with you, right? He spoke to you and was very I think just dismissive of you. He doesn't want to talk to you. Doesn't want you around him right now. He's pretty upset. He actually says to you at the gala. He says, "This is Barnaby. I'm one of the most powerful wizards in the city. Do you know? This is a big, dangerous city. Do you know how many times I've almost been killed in the past? I don't know, 5 years in this city."
Now who's saying this again, Nick?
Bigby is
Bigby is.
Oh.
chastising you.
Do I know that how many times probably none, I would think. I'll say none.
No, once. You today.
Well, I assure you, I wasn't actually trying to kill you, sir. It was please forgive me. It was a horrible mistake. The magic just got away from me.
Am I anywhere near?
No, you're down with the
Okay, I got
you're
you.
down with the prisoner.
I haven't made it back my way back up with the prisoner, like
you're
by
coming
by the scruff of his neck.
You're probably you probably walk in when this is happening with the prisoner if you like.
So Bigby is. So I walk in on Bigby chastising Barnaby.
Yeah, he's got a huge burn on the side of his face. It looks horrible, like very serious wound.
So without letting go of this guy, like I've probably got him bound in some way, and I would imagine I'm much stronger than whoever this is. I just taking stock of the situation. I'm like, oh, this makes sense.
Yeah, you can't tell. I mean, you're not sure what happened, right? You just can't, and you catch the tail end of that conversation. And
first thing I say is this all makes sense, and then I throw this guy down at Bigby's feet. I'm like, this is the druid that stole your artifact. Have I recovered the artifact?
You searched him. I think you probably searched him, right? Or have you searched him yet?
Well, yeah, I think we left off that I caught him. Otherwise, I wouldn't know that it was really him.
I think you searched him right away. You found an artifact on him. It's not Bigby's artifact, though. It's a crystal. Look, he had definitely stolen an artifact, but he did not steal Bigby's artifact.
I see.
So it's a bluish white crystal that's pulsing faintly. You have no idea what it is, or what it's for. You might remember seeing it in the exhibit.
Yeah. So I throw this guy down at Bigby's feet, and I'm like, this is one of the culprits. I didn't find your artifact, Bigby, but I did find this one. Does he have he has to have the red mark on him, right? So like whatever he may have thrown a cloak on or whatever. I'm like,
the wine stain on the back of his.
This is the same druid that Barnaby marked clearly before he hit you with some kind of a fireball.
Bigby looks at him and nods, and he's still. You can tell he's really pissed off.
It wasn't a fireball. It was just a bolt. It was a very powerful bolt, but I mean,
Look, Barnaby does all kinds of dumb stuff all the time. This won't be the last time.
No, and
okay, Barnaby's gonna look at him and go, "Really?"
And Barnaby waves Maeve over, his new favorite, right? Bigby waves Maeve over. Asks Maeve for it's kind of like wants to lean on you, Maeve, for just
For
because
support.
for support. And he's clearly showing that you are his new favorite. Right now, and that Barnaby is on the
on
outs,
the S list.
right?
Yeah.
There's still a few people milling about, not very many. But a older woman comes over to kind of check on Bigby, right? And he looks up, um, and nods to her, and he says, "Team, this is Alara. If you play your cards right, and maybe you'll have more than one patron here in the city. This was her gala, and that she arranged, and she's responsible for some of these artifacts." And he mentions that points to the guy on the ground, that the thief that you caught, um, and he says to you, Ezekiel, Bigby says, you recovered an artifact from this person. He's asking you, Ezekiel, to kind
Well,
of.
let's search him. Have you searched him yet, Zeke?
Yeah, that's
Bar-
where I found this crystal.
Okay.
Yeah, so you take out the crystal and show it to her. I have an image of Alara. Hold on. She says, "Well, thank you for recovering this. This is very valuable."
Yes.
Okay. Barnaby, have any idea what it is?
No, it's a pulsing crystal. It's a bluish pulsing crystal.
You've never seen anything like it before, I guess.
No, you might have seen it in the hall, during the exhibit, but y'all have no idea.
Do we know who Alara is, or is this the first time we've ever met Alara?
This is the first time you've met her.
It-
Bigby's introducing her.
okay,
Basically,
so I
she's
got you.
the.
I offer her crystal. I'm honored that I was able to recover your artifact.
She nods and takes it from you and says, "Thank you. It's very valuable. I appreciate that the three of you are here to at least provide some kind of security and help with
I've had
what's
my
going on."
foot on the neck of the guy I caught the whole time because I don't want him getting away because we're not paying attention.
Okay, he's kind of laying there defeated and quiet.
I haven't had time to question him. There's no question that the rest of any other stolen artifacts, he knows where they went.
Laura looks at him and stares at him, and kind of crinkles her face, um, and
Perhaps sometime back at the church, you'll feel implored to confess his sins.
Barnaby tilts his head and says, "Hey Zeke, maybe we ought to do this one off-site, huh?"
Oh, I'm thinking we take our friend here back to the church where he might feel the need to confess.
Well, but I don't maybe I'm thinking we don't necessarily want to. What we want to do is get information out of this fella, and the techniques we use may not be completely something that the church would want us to use. So maybe
I won't
maybe we go off-site, like a little barge in the river or something.
I won't take part in torturing what is now an unarmed man, but perhaps the
I
church can compel this man to talk.
So Laura speaks up and she says, "I appreciate that you've caught this person, but you will need to leave him with me, and we will take care of
I turned to Bigby.
the
Bigby, I recovered her artifact, not
interrogation.
yours. Is this what you wish?
Bigby kind of looks at Alara as like trying to size her
Oh,
up, her
I'm
intentions,
detecting evil on her right now.
and that's okay. Hold on.
The minute I see him looking kind of uncertain of someone he introduced us to, I'm detecting evil on her.
Okay, now I think we talked about this last time. Detecting evil, you have to take an action. You have to concentrate. So I think it's obvious that you're doing something when you
That's
do
fine.
that, right? You
Yeah,
can't.
that's
You
fine.
can't
Yeah, I
just do it.
agree. I agree.
Right, since you can do it at will, it's got to
I
be. It's got to have a little drawback, right?
like, yeah,
It's,
she can certainly tell that I'm focused on her, and she might even feel it.
Yeah. So Bigby, okay, so Bigby is looking at her, looks at you. He kind of motions for you to knock it off, right? And he says, "This is Ilaria's responsibility. This is Ilaria's responsibility.
I
She's
still do it anyway.
entitled to into the prisoner."
Okay, that's fine. I still do it anyway.
Okay, and Alara. So I think she looks at you while you're doing that, and she's very suspicious of what you're doing, and she says, "Can I help you with something?"
I finish what I'm doing before I respond.
Okay, and yeah, and you finish, and you don't pick up any sign of evil.
No, I just tell her, no, I was just ensuring that your intentions are pure.
hey, Laura, why, Mistress, why would you not allow us to try and recover the um, articles that Bigby lost?
I have my own people for that. This is my responsibility. I appreciate you.
Well, forgive me, but your people, if they were here guarding your event, failed to get a single one of the thieves. We at least brought one down. Maybe we've demonstrated that we are more
So,
than capable of helping.
would you like a reward then? Is that what you're after?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm after. My reward is I'd like to question this prisoner, and then you may have him. And if you don't want me to do that, I have to ask why. Because our, my mentor's items were stolen, and I was here to protect them. I need to go get them.
She turns to Bigby and raises an eyebrow, like get control of your people, kind of. One noble. She's a very wealthy noblewoman, and Bigby's a big person in the city, right? And you get the feeling that she's getting irritated with you all, that you're beneath her.
I'm gonna look at Bigby and like, come on, boss, put me in. Like,
Says,
let's go.
She says, "My men will be here within the hour. You can interrogate him now, but he's coming with me. He's coming with me." And she says that to Bigby. She's ignoring you, and then she says, "I have other matters to attend to."
Well,
And she
that's good.
kind of turns her back on you guys.
Good enough for me. At least we can talk to him. I just give. I'll throw a Bigby the like shrug with the hand, with the palms up, like, what are you gonna do? Sorry.
All right, and she kind of walks over to another room and starts talking to some other guests and stuff.
So I approach Bigby and implore for a word.
looks at all of you and he's like, "You three are causing me more headaches this evening than I anticipated." She's one of the
Us
most powerful
three
people in the city.
to
You
protect
need to what?
your artifact, and when I when when this when that druid caused that distraction that clearly caused the loss of more than just your
This
artifact.
he kind of kicks this guy. He says, "You think this person is capable of the magic that we saw tonight?"
No, clearly he has accomplices. He has a patron, and the answer is with it.
Of
Well,
course he
didn't she
does.
take him? Didn't she take him? I thought she took him away.
No, she left him with us
No, she
until
left
her
him here.
people
She
get
said
there.
y'all could talk to him for a little bit, and that
Okay, all right.
her people will be here
So,
soon. So
Yeah,
he said, if you want
go
to,
ahead.
he said, make it quick. Find out what information you can from him, but make it quick. We need to leave. We've got some important matters to take care of ourselves.
so
Barnaby's going to
Bigby, is
look
it
over to.
important? How important is it that we recover your artifact? You seem to maybe not genuinely care anymore.
You're talking to Bigby?
Yeah.
He says, of course. He says, of course I care. Find out what you can from this person, and let's go.
All right.
Barnaby's going to look over to Maeve and say, Maeve, noticed you studying, and forgive me, I didn't know you knew Zeke. I just knew we were supposed to look out for druids.
Maeve
That's why I
doesn't know
took
Zeke.
such. Oh, I
Maeve
thought
knows
no,
Bigby.
knew Bigby. Okay. So I say, Maeve, I didn't realize you knew Bigby as well. I was told to look for druids, and you look like a druid. That's why I focused on you. So it wasn't. I had no ill intent. But I noticed that you spotted this person. What was it about the person that caught your attention, and what can you tell us about him? Is he a druid?
Well, I'd assume so. I was listening to the people around me before you so rudely interrupted me.
Yeah.
Well, again, apologies. I was just doing my job because you did look like a druid. But you
That
overheard
doesn't
something then?
surprise me either.
Maeve, make a notice
Are
roll
you
for me.
sure? Okay. Oh,
Well, that's a success. Right? Okay, so what part of what you noticed to refresh your memory for last week is he's got leather armor that has like druidic runes on it, right?
mm,
Um, and so he's kind of giving off that druidic vibe, and obviously that's the rumor going around is that druids are stealing artifacts, so that's why he caught your attention. But you notice, I think, with the success, you notice that um, the runes as you're kind of talking to him right now, you're talking to the rest of the party and you're looking down at this guy and thinking about that. You can see the runes on his that are kind of embroidered into his leather armor, and they don't look right. They don't look. They look like maybe they're just decorative or something. They don't look. Um, but there's something a little bit off about them.
okay. And I guess I'll tell him that. Well, looking at him now, although I did see that he had some sort of druidic rings on his armor, um, those runes on his person don't quite look right.
Like maybe he was pretending to be a druid?
Perhaps, but maybe I don't want to tell you.
Oh, okay. So then, with that, Barnaby is going to promptly start ignoring her
So
since she's not going to help.
So obviously listening to this, I'm like, I turned to Maeve. I'm like, look, I wouldn't want to share anything with Barnaby either. With as much as he drinks, it's only a matter of time before every secret I ever tell him is out in the open. Let me introduce myself. I'm Ezekiel Marcus, Templar of Iomade. Bigby is very much a patron of our church. My charge was to protect his artifact. I need to find out what this guy knows. And if you can help me do that, I would love nothing more than to get your assistance.
Well, I guess I could do that.
So tell me what you know. What's off about this guy?
Well,
And
like
I
I said,
kind of nudge him a little bit, like, is he still underfoot, Nick? Like, or did we stand him up, or what
Yeah, I
to
know. I
give
think
him
he's
to
probably
hand him over to Alara?
No,
Is
he's
he
still
struggled?
there.
Is he struggled? Well, remember Alara said that we could talk to him.
yeah.
Yeah,
That she would give
he's
us a
still
few minutes.
there, right?
But yeah, he's still there because Big B was pointing.
Yeah, he's just sitting on
Basically.
the ground, right? And I think you bound his arms.
Yeah, like so.
You probably
You
bound his
mentioned
arms behind his back,
you
right?
seem to feel like something's off here. Tell me what you think.
well, I think that either this is some sort of sick joke, in that clearly there's just no way that this could be real druidic magic at hand with this particular suspect. However, um, it's kind of even so well thought out, so I'm wondering if we could kind of discover what connections this guy has to the druids anyway.
So,
Hey, while they're talking, can I start searching this guy?
have you detected magic on him yet, Barnaby?
Not yet, but I want to search him first. See what he has on him.
Sounds
Yeah.
like a good idea.
Okay, you search him, and he doesn't have much on him, right? He was prepared for a job. Doesn't have like any kind of
He doesn't have a
valuables,
cyanide
or
pill on him.
doesn't
So,
have a cyanide pill.
Nick, like, tell me about this guy's hands. Are his hands soft? Are they rough? Are they like what would I take from his build? You know, like I'm gonna take a deeper dive here. How does he you know how does what's his
Yeah,
face look
why
like?
don't
You
you?
know, how does he smell? Just give me like, if do I notice anything that could tip me off to like something about him?
Right, why don't you give me a let's call it a common knowledge roll.
I think they're all fours, so it won't matter. I do common knowledge. Yep. Okay.
Hey, look at that.
Holy
cow.
smokes!
23. Good old savage rolls. That's crazy. So
God, it's
The
almost
odds
as
are
if
on
he.
that?
Barnaby, this guy seems familiar to you.
That's
Like,
what I was about to say. He like freaking
you know
knows him.
this guy, right? 4 raises. That's a success with 4 raises, right? So as you start like looking at him, he's like slowly becoming more familiar.
It's
And
a drinking buddy, dude.
you've dealt with this guy before. Yeah, he's a drinking buddy. You have you definitely recognize him, right? As you start to like you're kind of looking at his hands and trying to size him up, and you're like, this guy seems vaguely familiar, and then he's becoming more and more familiar. And then you're like you all of a sudden a light bulb goes off, and this guy is a regular patron at the Silver Eel, which is a popular drinking tavern in one of the more sketchier parts of town that you like to frequent, Barnaby. And
They have a
know that
particular
this
brand
guy,
of ale that I like.
yeah, and you've met, he's there, so you guys have had,
Do I remember his
you
name?
know, you do remember his name. What is it?
Oh yeah. Okay. So this is uh, we call him Paulie.
Type it in chat, so I can remember the notes.
In the bar. He goes by
Just Jimmy
Paulie.
Two Fingers.
Polly, yeah. Um, Yeah, so you've drank with this guy a few times. He is definitely not a druid. He is not. Um, you knew that he's kind of a shady type. You got the impression that he was more like a thief or a brigand type, right?
Okay.
From
Is he
talking to him.
maybe like connected, or is he more like just kind of like local rabble?
That you're not sure about, like
Yeah.
but you would have you'd probably just assume he's part of the local thieves guild or something, but
Yeah.
maybe connected in that way, but you don't know for sure. Y'all didn't
All
really
right.
talk much
I'm gonna so you
shop.
see Barnaby. Barnaby's just kind of sitting on top of this guy. With
Do you
like
go
with
by
his
Barnaby when you're in the Silver Eel? Do you go by do
yeah.
you
But Barnaby's got nothing to hide. He's
okay.
and if he's flush, he's buying drinks. So Barnaby's gonna be sitting on top of this guy, like over his chest, and you just kind of like really carefully inspected him, and you see like this look of realization come over his face, and then his eyebrows go up, and then slowly a big smile forms, and he reaches down and he taps the guy's cheek with his hand on the side, and he says, "Polly, buddy, what the
And
hell are you doing here?"
he's looking up at you, and yeah, and the same recognition comes across his face,
I
and he goes,
basically dropped my
"Is
mace and like,
Barnaby?"
this definitely doesn't surprise me.
Right,
Buddy, buddy,
Barnaby.
you're a long way from the eel. What's going on? What you doing?
Oh yeah, man. Well, uh, I guess it's pretty obvious, but I'm on a job. It looks like it's kind of gone sideways a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
know
he kind of
there's a lot
nods
of
at
people.
the paladin.
Yeah, yeah, that's unfortunately you'd have probably been better off with him. He winks and he says, "I'm not sure what the lady's going to do with you, but I don't think it's going to be good." Um, so hey, anything I can do to help you here?
He says, "Yeah, can you get me out of this, man? I
I
just
might be able to. How willing are you to just tell us the truth?
He kind of looks around and he says, "Yeah, yeah. So, what do you want to know?
Who hired you?
It's a job. It was a job to come to try to steal an artifact from this highfalutin party here. I was
Which
just
artifact
hired.
were you trying to steal? The one I recovered from you or another one?
Didn't matter. I got this, and he kind of reaches into his a pocket in his cloak that was kind of like semi hidden. And he pulls out a glove, and he says, "They just told me that I could use this glove to get through the artifact protection uh, dome, and I was just supposed to grab one.
Just any one
Hmm.
or a specific one?
Yeah, no, anyone.
So
Barnaby will
I'm trying to.
grab that off of him and take a look at it and say,
He he
so
he
how?
kind
Oh,
of
go ahead.
he kind of waves for you, Barnaby, to kind of lean in, and he's like, "Look, man, I'm trying to get into the thieves guild here, and this was I thought this was my chance."
If you're able to get out of this, I'd probably never come back because if you do get out, they're probably going to kill you. And he'll say that very quietly, and he's being earnest. And he sits back, and with the glove in his hand, he says, "Do you have any idea how many were sent in? Um, Based on the number of artifacts taken, it must have been what, a dozen of you."
I don't know. I was told that there would be I was told to dress nice, come to the party, and that there would be a distraction that I couldn't miss, and that was my chance to
who
grab
told
something
you
and
that?
run.
Are you like? Can we are Maeve and I in close enough quarters?
Yeah, I mean, I think
Barnaby
y'all are
didn't
all.
push you guys away. Yeah, sure.
So, all right. So I lean into to Polly. I'm like, look, Polly, you either found religion in the last 10 minutes and you're telling us the truth, or you're doing what these do and saying anything that you can to try to get out of this. And I don't know which one it
Well,
is, but I can tell you, will make me know is if you start naming names.
Zeke, you did show us the glove. I mean, that's one thing.
Sure,
But yeah,
that's nice. But he
I'm,
didn't do this on his own. And that glove had to have been given to him by someone, and the instructions were given to him by someone. I want to know who.
Yeah, I don't. He kind of looks at you and looks at Barnaby, and it's like
yeah.
a.
Barnaby
You
will nod and he'll
know,
say,
I
ju-
go ahead. What are you gonna say?
"No, I was just gonna say, where did they approach you?"
Yeah, it's the usual thing. I don't have names. No offense, Mister whatever your name is, but you clearly don't know how things work in the darker parts of the city.
I know how things work in the
There's no
church's
name.
dungeon.
There's no. I don't
All
have
right,
any names.
at that,
I got a job.
Uh,
I got a
Barnaby's gonna
contact.
raise his. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it says I got a contact who has a contact who has a contact. Right. That's how this stuff works. I don't
Well,
know
let's
names.
start
I
with
don't
your
know.
contact. Who's that?
That's I got lots of contacts, but
All right, then start naming them. Who was the contact that started the chain of events that led you here?
yeah, I'm as good as dead if I start naming contacts.
Yeah,
Rats,
Barnaby's
rats
just gonna kind
along
of
the
look at.
thing.
Barnaby's gonna turn his head and look at Zeke and just kind of squeeze his eyes and shake his head and be like, just he's gonna hold up a hand like, just hold on, okay, like please. And he'll look back to the guy and say, "Look, I know how hard this is. Let me ask you. He'll just lean in real close so that nobody else can hear. He'll say, where were you going to take this once you got it?"
Uh, well, there's a to to fence down on the down by the docks.
Okay. At that, Barnaby's going to cast a spell. He's going to cast the mind reading spell,
Okay,
and
sure.
so let me go ahead and roll that. Okay, so he gets a 10. I think that's a raise, right?
Yeah, that's success with a race.
Okay, so he's going to look back at him and just say, "Really, you were supposed to take it to a fence at the docks?"
Yeah, and he's lying a little bit. There's a um from from reading his mind, you kind of get an image of the guy he's supposed to talk to. It's some kind of um like a informer, like a thieves guild informer.
Mm-hmm.
Um and you don't know from reading his mind, you don't know the guy's name, but you know the like the tavern where he's supposed to meet him at.
Did I
You
get an
you
impression
think
of kind of
and you kind of know what the
knowing
guy
him?
looks like.
Okay, and I'll say I'll just look at him and kind of shake my head a little bit, and I'll say, and um, yeah, because I got a raise, I can ask again. I'll say, and I'll lead, and I'll just say, "What's the one thing that I need to know that you're not telling me?"
What is the one thing that he knows that he's not telling you?
That I need to know that he's not telling
Yeah, right. Let me think about that for a second as the GM here.
me. See, I'm gonna
Um,
make you do some work now.
yeah, he, um, he was supposed to um he was supposed to be wearing he was supposed to go and get this um let me find it here. Um he was supposed to go and get this cloak with a symbol on it from a tailor, and that's part of like the um he was supposed to be wearing it tonight, and he didn't. Some stuff came up, and he was drinking too much, and he didn't go get it like he was supposed to. But
Mm-hmm.
he knows that like it was supposed to be part of a part of whatever's going on.
Mm-hmm. Do I have an
And
image of the? Do I get a sense of the symbol?
no, you just know that he was supposed to, like, there's something you get the because this isn't him directly answering you, right? You're just kind of picking up
Right.
on memories and stuff, right? So there's
Mm-hmm.
some big piece that's something about how he was supposed to get a tailor and get a disguise or something, and he just time got away from him at the Silver Eel, and he didn't get around to doing that, and he's worried that he's going to get in trouble for not doing that, and
Mm-hmm. Did I pick up on
it
where the
was.
tailor is?
I think you pick up the conversation from when the person was talking to him a little bit about this job, and said, "And be sure and go. Here's the job. Here's the glove, and you need to go to the tailor and go get this go get this disguise from the tailor."
All right, I'll lean in real close and say, "Hey, Polly, just one more thing. Tell me about the tailor. Where were you supposed to get the cloak?"
His eyes like get big, and he's like, does he know if he? I can't remember how the spell works. Does he know if if you're that your room is
Um,
fine?
I do not know. I
I
did
think
not hide the fact.
Actually,
I
I
mean,
think with the
yeah,
success he doesn't, right? I think with the I think if you get
right,
a normal success, he does. The victim does, but if you get a raise,
yeah,
they don't know it. I think,
yeah.
if I
You
remember
you
correctly.
spot on. A success means that he
Okay,
does not. Right.
right. So he doesn't know. So he's like, "Oh, you know about the tailor? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I should have done.
Um.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then yeah,
that's
he'll
down
say,
on.
but I'm sorry.
Yeah. The tailor is down on Globe Street. Is that's maybe you can pick that up for me, and I'll meet you at the Silver Eel sometime soon. I hope.
Is he being truthful?
I think so. You don't exactly
Okay.
have like fully lie detector
Yeah, yeah.
capability.
No. That's fine. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to. All right. I'll say um and
Are we running
I'm
out of
going
time
to.
here with the?
Yeah.
Because
So what?
what's her nuts?
Well, hey,
Or
Nick,
Maynard?
there's one other thing I want to do, and then I'll drop back here a little bit because I took up some time there. But Barnaby is going to let me just see. I think I have. Bear with me just 1 minute. I'm sorry. Um, um, oh, never mind. I was gonna. Oh wait, here it is. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay. So he has this. He keeps a small throwing knife in his like tucked in under his forearm. So when he leans in, he's just gonna kind of push the knife onto into his sleeve and
Yeah,
just
hide it
say,
on his body part.
yeah, just say, look, you just remember, be honest, fly straight, and if you get an opportunity, get the hell out of this town because you didn't pass the test. And he'll then he's going to stand back and just give him a good hard shot in the nose with his fist to bloody his nose, and say, and if I ever see you again, well, don't ever let me see you again. And he's going to walk away.
Yeah, and that's good timing because that's about when when the noblewoman's guards show up. She's talking to him. She motions towards the prisoner, Alara, right? She
Yeah.
motions towards Paulie, and
Yeah, his just so Barnaby is really good at heart, and he doesn't want to see this guy get killed over this, and he doesn't think that just backstory for why he did that. He doesn't think that the noble will kill him, but he thinks that even if he gets put in a jail, the Thieves Guild will. So he's hoping the guy can get out of town.
right.
And the guy did help him, even though he wasn't being completely honest.
Yeah.
And with that, he'll lean up and give Zeke a big smile and pull him in for a hug and whisper in his ear, "I know where to go," and he'll step back.
All right. I
All
like
right.
it. All right, and and so that kind of wraps up this scene. You all head back your separate ways for the evening. Bigby asks you
So the
to
whole time that
come
was
to his
happening,
place the next.
he's
He says, meet me at my place tomorrow
okay.
morning. Let's and
Got it.
we'll figure out the next steps here.
Where's Oak?
He says, I got another guy we want to
Okay.
He's got a guy.
we want to get involved here. Hey, okay, so pause in the game. That reminds me, I was reading an article or watching a YouTube video. I saw a really cool idea. I like it. I want to use it. So this is a new house rule for you all. The house rule is called I know a guy. And basically, each of you can use this once during the adventure, like not per session, but over the
I
course of
got you.
the entire adventure. Once per adventure, you can tell me that you know a guy to help out with something, right? So you can say
Gotcha.
whatever, somebody in a town or
Kind
whatever.
of phone a friend.
Yeah, phone a friend type of thing, right? So, and we'll come up with a NPC that and how they can help you. So keep that in mind over the next several adventures. I know a guy. That's the name of the house rule. But yeah, that's what Barnaby says. Is like I know a guy. If the thieves guild's involved, then I've got somebody that can help us. That I think will be of more use to us here. And so you all go about your separate ways for the evening, and we'll cut forward in time. You gather the next day. You're gathering at Barnaby's. At Bigby's. The names are Bigby's too close to Barnaby. You all gather at Bigby's mansion, right? He's got a pretty nice place in the expensive part of the city, and you all show up roughly the same time, and in the front parlor, there's another person in there that y'all have not met before. Now, and this is Oak's character, of course. So maybe we're retconning a little bit. Oak, do you? We're kind of retconning the background between you and Maeve a little bit. But do y'all still? What do you think? Do y'all know each other and have worked with each other before, or is this the?
I know I'm gonna say
first
that
time
I'm a new face.
Okay, you're a new face, right. So this is the first time you're meeting everybody. So why don't you describe your character for everyone?
So I'm kind of standing over, just leaning on the hearth by the fireplace. Got a dagger out, picking thumbnails. Looked up, kind of give a wry smile. He's about 5'8". He's not a tall guy. Kind of that rugged good looks, unkept hair a little bit, a little bit more than 5 o'clock shadow going on. Brown leathers of various shades. Almost knee-high boots with the flaps that come down. Very roguish looking individual.
And I can't remember. Is he human? Can you hear me?
Half elf.
Half elf. Okay, that's right. Half elf.
They guessing by looks, maybe 24 to 28. Of course, being half elven, he's probably older than that.
Right. Probably 50 or 60 or something, right? All right, and the rest of you are there as well. Bigby has not come into the room yet, so why don't you all kind of introduce yourselves to each other, or to this new person?
So I take it you're the ones Big B needs help with.
I step forward. I'm Ezekiel Marcus, Templar of Iomade.
Well
Who
met.
might you be?
Fay and more.
And what brings you to Bigby's fine abode?
He requested me to be here. Said there was
And
a group that needed some help with a little bit more subtlety.
why don't we use this opportunity for each of you to kind of recap a description of your character as well, too?
Yep, I put a description in my of my. Oh, I guess probably give you a little. I gave you a little more than you were looking for.
Yeah, I just needed
in
kind
chat.
of a physical blurb to try to make some artwork with.
Yeah, so Ezekiel's over 6 feet tall, broad shoulders, muscular build, chiseled facial features, but lacks the scarring expected of someone with as much battle experience as he has.
Big paladin.
Yep.
Big human paladin. Maeve?
Maeve stays right where she is and she says, Maeve Tactean, pleasure to meet you.
He just kind of smiles and nods his head.
And Maeve is a fellow elf. I think you described her a little bit before.
He's full blood, though, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Anything else about her that you want to describe, Landry?
She kind of looks like she's not always there. Like she's thinking about some other stuff. I think that's pretty apparent to other people.
Distracted. She's distracted by elf thoughts.
Yeah, probably so.
All right, Barnaby.
Yeah, so Barnaby will step up and offer like a little bow. Barnaby is like 5'10", brown hair, brown eyes, bit of a beard. Sometimes a little unshaven. Very nice clothes, but very kind of worn. And like, he once wore nice things, but he doesn't really keep up with them. And he's got a staff in one hand and like lots of little, like, no he's got a clothing, but it's mixed with some light leather armor on it, and but no real weapons other than the staff. Maybe you might see like a knife or two sticking out, but generally kind of a kind smile and usually kind of playful. And he just steps forward and says, "Oh, well met, Barnaby, and glad to meet you. Nice to have another set of hands to help. And if you're any good with the stealthier side of things, that might be good because I think that's where we're going next."
I've been known to enter places I shouldn't undetected.
Good. Well, we might need you because where we're going, that's pretty much everybody.
So I guess we're just waiting on Bigby.
Yeah, about that time Bigby comes in. I've got an image of Bigby. I don't remember if I shared before.
You did?
And Bigby's older, right? Gray hair, beard, mustache. You guys can see the image of him. He's of indeterminate age. Magically, you're assuming you all have always assumed he's human, but you're not sure. But you do know that he is. Uh, has been around for quite a long time. He's built up a pretty positive reputation over the years as a powerful wizard. He's someone who is kind of sees himself as a, what would you say, like he's kind of a, like dedicated the last several years to kind of protecting the world, let's say, or protecting at least the city and the nearby area from magical threats and unusual activities and stuff like that. Um, but so he's kind of been he's like kind of one of the guardians of the city, and has been for a long time, just trying to always um, keep some what would you call it, some balance or some stability in the world around all the various magical forces that might um, cause problems or spiral out of control or something like that, right? So you all have and you all have worked with him for a while and all know him pretty well. I'm gonna have to adjust this image. I'm gonna have to add a scar to his image. He's got a nice burn on the left side of his face. It's been treated. Like just so you all are aware, like he could heal. The magic healing will he probably got some magic healing you know relatively soon after the incident from yesterday, uh, that healed his wounds and everything, but he still got a serious burn scar on the side of his face from Barnaby's attack there. So
I elbow Barnaby.
I roll my eyes.
That's like, dude, why is it always you?
Are you kidding me? Do you forget the time when we were in the witch tower and you fell completely out of the top story?
As he's talking, I kind of make a motion of like drinking with a wine glass, get crazy eyes.
I'll just shake my head.
I turn away with you can't see, but I'm laughing.
Yeah.
You kind of see my shoulders going up and down.
Yeah.
Bigby says, but I gotta change I gotta get better at that. Bigby says, I see you all had a chance to meet Faye in here, and he nods at Oak's character.
I give more of a formal bow to him.
He nods a little formal bow with his head though.
I tighten my money. The straps on my money purse.
Unconsciously.
Right.
I gotta take dogs out. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Is that a euphemism for something?
Yeah. Hey,
No, it's my dog sitting here wanting to pee, so I have to go.
Yeah, let's take a 5-minute break and meet back.
Okay, I'm right. I'm gonna stay here.
I'll be right back too.
Landry.
Mm-hmm.
Your grades look really good.
Thanks. They're better than, or even though they were good last time, they're better than the last time. I think. Oh, only time will tell what happens with the government test. My first final is on Friday.
And your last day is school's Wednesday next week. Is it like a half day?
Well, they're all half days.
What do you mean they're all half days?
We're only doing finals.
All week is all week next week is half days, or all week this week, or both?
Friday's a half day, and then the entire next week is all half days.
I'm back.
And when are you're gonna head here on Thursday?
Yeah.
Thursday morning or Thursday evening?
Morning.
Okay, cool.
This your senior year too, correct?
It is.
That's awesome. Getting halfway done.
It's pretty exciting.
Oh, what? You never told me what CJ would want for Christmas. Is it still dinosaurs?
Dude, Roblox. Robux, man. Just get in Roblox.
I don't. Okay. I was
Just
thinking something like
if you want
cooler.
well, to him there is nothing cooler.
Really?
Yeah. Get in Roblox.
Oh, you were telling me a really long time ago that you were trying to get the mechanomes. I
The
got
what?
them the other day. The mechanomes and wow.
I wasn't trying to get mechanomes. I was trying to get the black the Iron
Oh, the
Dwarves.
dark iron doors, yeah.
Yeah, and
Alright.
the quest line, like I can see it on the map, but I can never get to the quest. And so I was like, that's literally why I quit playing. I was so pissed off.
You playing
Well,
retail
what
or classic?
expansion were you playing?
Retail. Somehow I got the quest line out of somehow I got it to where the quest will appear on the little mini map up in the right hand, but it doesn't matter what I do, I can never find the quest giver.
Well, sometimes those will show on the if you're using an add-on for that.
I don't have any
Okay, I say if you're
add-ons.
doing that, it'll show this is where a quest
No.
area is, but it'll be a drop, or you have to do something else first.
No, it's that area where like you can choose to go back in the past and fight these, or you can be
Okay,
in the current time, and it doesn't matter which one I'm in. The quest giver is never there.
That sucks. Yeah, this
Yeah, it's
last
really annoying.
Dragonflight, I didn't. That's the first X pack I didn't purchase. I'm going back to playing classic, playing Season of Discovery currently.
I'm so excited for what is it called? Outer whatever. Oh, the cinematic was really good. Or Outlands, that's what it's called.
Hey Landry, do you want to see Godzilla -1 when you're here? Because CJ wants to see it again.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Everybody back?
Yep, that movie's
I'm here.
fantastic, by the way.
I would like to see it.
I took my son's 10. He's a huge Godzilla fan. We went and saw it in a. You ever been to a 4DX theater?
Mm-mm. I live in a small town.
Okay, so it's basically this theater. Like you're on a bench seat. There's 4 seats to basically a bench. Those things move around to the movie, right? And they'll like do gusts of air
So it's
and big
rumble seats and
flashing
stuff.
light.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
rumble seats, and like they'll spritz you with water if it's like it. Like there's scenes when they were on a boat and this thing would slowly rock like you're on an ocean. So
That's
anyway, we
awesome.
went and saw it. It was so fantastic. That movie is it's easily the best Godzilla movie ever. It's not just a good Godzilla movie; it's a good movie. It's fantastic.
Do we have everybody back? Is Mike there?
I'm not sure if Mike's back or not.
Okay.
Well, Dad, what expansion even is that for the Dark Iron Dwarves?
I have no idea.
Oh. Also, they just like randomly let me unlock Void Elves, Lightforged Draenei, and then something else. They just let me do it.
Oh, that's nice.
I guess. But I was more interested in actually having to work for it.
Oh, well, that's half the fun. You're right, is earning it.
But I've earned a lot of cool stuff. Like I got a cool title because I was like the savior of the Night Elves or whatever. Something dumb like that. What is it? Amashan? Yeah.
Oh, you said you started playing again?
I bought my subscription, or I unpaused my subscription last month.
Nice. You
Have
still
any
have
of y'all been playing Baldur's Gate?
Well, Landry's asked for it for Christmas, and I'm assuming she gets it, and I promised to play with her.
Nice.
So
I'm
I
just
stopped
playing
playing.
Ark and Classic WoW.
Oh yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
I have
I'm gonna wait.
Yeah,
All
I've
right.
been playing the Baldur's Gate a little bit.
Did
Yeah,
I
I'm
hear you, Mike?
definitely.
Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I was just saying I've been playing it a little bit too. Since it's like my fifth playthrough now, up to I have to get back to where it's new material, so it's a little annoying.
Oh yeah, so I've only started. It's like I bought it when it was in beta. The game is so
Yeah,
much different now than it was when I started playing it in beta. It's not. It's like a light years different.
yeah, pretty good game.
Yeah, there's some things that I have to fight through that aren't my favorite, but I think it's
Mhm.
good enough to fight through those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just bought it and started playing it last week. It's pretty good.
Oh, thank you. Uh,
All right, so let's get back to the game. So you all are in the foyer of Bigby's house. You have met Fayin. You all have made your introductions. Bigby looks at all of you. He says, "There's a lot going on in this city around artifacts that we need to take care of. There's an artifact in particular that I need your help with. We've got to get it out of this city for reasons I'll get into later, but I need you all to figure out what's going on uh, for the time being with these thefts and see if you can recover my artifact."
Bigby, is there anything else you can tell us about the artifact you need us to recover? Like, what kind of danger are we in?
The artifact isn't dangerous. It's the one they stole. Is, let me see if I have something here. And he goes over to a bookshelf and takes a book off of a bookshelf and kind of thumbs through it. And he turns to a page that has a drawing of the artifact. I think maybe Ezekiel, you're the only one who saw it in person. It was a golden. It was a golden pine cone, right? And he says this can be this artifact is not dangerous, but it can be in the wrong hands. It's can be a source of well, it's the source of wealth, um, and in the wrong hands, it's going to be able to finance people and agendas that we don't want to finance. So it's very valuable, but not necessarily powerful in a magical sense. There are several, from what I understand from Alara, there were several artifacts stolen yesterday. So whatever you all can find out will be helpful. And I'm gonna go my separate ways well to deal with this other issue that we have.
well, uh,
I
Barnaby will
expect
kind
you
of
all be able to solve this issue.
Barnaby will raise his hand and say, "I was able to find out a few things talking to the thief that we caught."
Well, and so what is your
Well, so he was hired along, I think, with a number of the other thieves to um, steal an item, and he, along with these other folks, was given this, and Barnaby will produce the glove, and he'll hand it to the to Bigby and say the glove, as you probably know, is designed to bypass any of the magic protections, and it's impressive, I think, that they had so many of these that they could hand them out like that. Um, I have a sense of who the contact was that gave him the instructions, and better yet, I know where to go to find the man who's taking delivery of the items. And so I think we could work our way back to the items if that's what you want. But I'm pretty sure we're going to hit the guild. Um, very quickly in terms of working your way up the chain.
Bigby, what do you make of this glove? Have you ever seen anything like it?
It, I have. It's has an anti-magic enchantment to it, so that it can basically negate the magical protections we had in place.
Seems
There,
like a
so
very
it tells me
powerful artificer would have had to
that
create that. Is that right?
there's someone. Yes, there's obviously someone powerful behind all this. This is the people that these artifacts are being stolen from. Even are not people to be trifled with. So this is very serious indeed. But I'll leave
Big
the
D,
details up to you. You,
Bigby, how well do you know all of the exhibitors that were there?
well, I don't. I've heard of some, and I know most. I know some well. I know some by name only. So
Is it possible that one of those powerful mages and wizards was orchestrated this whole thing to?
anything is possible, right? That's what I'm going to leave up to you to find out.
All right, let's. So who has the glove right now?
Well, I handed it to.
Yeah, I think Bigby has it, right?
Bigby.
I think it's pretty,
I'll say to Bigby, do you mind if we hang on to that?
be very careful with it. It's very valuable.
Okay. All right. He'll Barnaby will tuck it away, and
And
he'll look over
I
it.
lean over to Barnaby and says, "What that means is you don't sell it for wine."
Okay, and
I just
Barnaby's going to
chuckle
look
when he
at
says
him.
that.
But Barnaby's going to look at him and say, "Look, joking around's good, but we're working now, so get a hold of yourself, okay? As far as wine goes, I can create it whenever I want, and if you bring it up again, I'm going to create it over your head." He'll just wink at him with a grin. So I'm sorry, I'm reading Oak's. Oak and I have
Sorry, ignore me.
fantasized the
I'm just trying to get smart.
same. Yeah, no, we've come up with the same character. It's pretty funny. So and I'm joshing around with Zeke, but I'm also being like half serious, like, okay, enough. This is serious business now. Because look back to Bigby and say, well, you asked us to get this artifact out of the city. Which do you want us to do first? Do you want us to follow up on the theft, and how far do you want us to push it with the guild?
The artifact that needs to leave the city is for a later date. You all take care of
Okay.
this issue now, while I go investigate that one, and we'll
All right.
discuss that more later.
Well, if we push this, we could start to entangle ourselves with the Thieves Guild. I just want to make sure you are okay with us doing that.
And let me freeze here, metagame wise, right? He's referring to the next adventure that y'all already started, right? Where you were
Yeah, for sure. I figured that out.
Right.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we're gonna retcon that a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm turning this into a real adventure when I'm not supposed to.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Well, I was just thinking about this. I'm stretching this one out because we're going to play next Sunday, so we'll have this adventure finish up next Sunday, and then we'll have a couple week break, and we'll start with the Keep on the Borderlands.
All right, awesome.
Sounds good.
So,
awesome.
So Bigby says, I leave this in your capable hands, and I have other business to attend, and he ushers you out of his house. Or actually, he lets y'all stay in there and discuss plans, right? So now y'all want to plan a little bit, and also, I can't remember if all of you are familiar with this rule or not. We're gonna role play through this, but I want to give you some background, some Savage Worlds background, since we're all still kind of learning it a little bit. We're going to most likely we'll be using the networking rules. So I'm going to share those real fast with you all, and you can read them at your leisure inside Fantasy Grounds. But networking is another little Savage Worlds subsystem. I like all their little subsystems, right? to simplify things, but they're also, a combination of role playing and dice rolls. Networking is when you're trying to find information, right? So you all can go out and hit the streets and talk to people. Obviously you got a couple leads from investigate from talking to the guy yesterday. You all might have other leads here within the town. I've got a chart where if you'd like, you can roll on and I can give you some ideas on who you can go talk to. But basically, you decide this is to kind of add some mechanics, but also shortcut the whole idea of gathering information, right? So rather than having all four of you, what it enables is all four of you can split up, right, and go beat the streets, so to speak, go gather information, and then come back and share what you've learned. And we don't have to role play all of that out where each person is talking to three or four different people or following up on leads while everybody else stands by.
Yeah, I'm interested in what the church has to have at least some kind of. They can't be oblivious to the thieves guild.
Right.
Obviously, they've got to have some kind of relationship, be a negative or a don't. Here's the line, don't cross it.
Yeah. Just so you all know, behind the scenes, I've got a list of because I mentioned that I'm embracing Chat GPT to help with adventure creation, and so one of the things I had to do was create a list of 20 contacts that you all can reach out to and gather information from. So we can literally just roll a d20 and you can talk to some random people, or if you have somebody specific you want to talk to, we can figure that out. But real quick on networking. So basically, what you do is you decide if you're going to do the nice way or the not so nice way, right? You can go out and use your persuasion skill and throw some gold around, maybe to sweeten the pot and to get some bonuses, and try to gather information, talking to people that way, socializing in various circles. It represents several hours of networking, hobnobbing, carousing, drinks, gifts, bribes, entertaining, right? Might represent roaming a marketplace or a series of meetings with important people or an evening of food and drink, Barnaby. And then there's intimidation, which is the not so nice way. Intimidation is gathering information, calling in favors, making demands, but it's a little less savory, right? It's working the streets, several hours of threats, general unpleasantness, rousing the local populace, right? Talking to shady characters, throwing people around a little bit.
More like what Zeke would do.
I'm not much of a. That's really not. I mean, I'm looking at my stuff. I don't really have intimidation. I do have persuasion.
Yeah,
okay.
Busting heads. You can choose to bust heads, which will give you a bonus.
The busting heads vibe, though. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. That's why I kind of agree with you. Although I purposefully did not do that with, not overtly with Polly. I didn't try to rough him up, other than I kind of tossed him to the ground and kept him pinned down so he couldn't run away. But I never tried to beat it out of him.
Yeah.
Like, that's really, I don't want, Zeke's not going to be that way. I mean, he has a code of honor, and that's crossing the line. In fact, I remember that's like, look, there's only so far I'm willing to go.
Yeah, but it's early days.
Right? Who knows what'll change? Yes. Who knows how the influence of others may change my persona.
Your drinking buddy's got some bad influences, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I probably didn't drink the holy wine.
So just a little more meta talk here. So that's the mechanics behind Savage Worlds of where y'all probably want to go next, is do a little bit of networking to gather some information that'll help you out with the finale for next week, right? I talked a little bit about this last week, Oak, and it was mainly for Landry's benefit since she's new to role-playing games, but just to all on the same page, since we were going through a published adventure last time. This adventure, I'm very much is in all of your hands, right? So now we've switched to a sandbox. This is my own world, my version of Pathfinder with all kinds of D&D other stuff thrown in, obviously. But I'm going to be much more improvisational, that kind of thing. I've got ideas of what's going on, obviously, but you all have a lot more agency now, and so this is more about what you all will get to kind of decide what you're gonna do and and
Yeah.
lead the way. So right now we still have about 30 minutes left of gaming tonight. So
Yeah.
let's jump back into the game, you guys, and role playing wise, you all just come
Yeah.
up with a plan. What do you want to do? What's what are y'all thinking? What's the plan? Where do y'all want to go next after you gather some information?
All right.
So
So
we'll cut back to the foyer of in the library or wherever you're at in Bigby's house, and y'all are discussing what to do next.
I'm going to go back to the church and talk to the church elders. I've heard rumor of there being a liaison of guild affairs within the church. I'm going to see what I can learn.
I think it'd probably be a good idea if we all look at our sources. I bet. Hold on, I gotta remember his name. Faye and I bet you probably most of all have contacts in of these sorts, don't you? Oak, you still with us?
I'm sorry, my daughter was in here talking to me. What was the question? Very sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. No worries. But are you okay to talk, or do you need to talk to your daughter?
Yeah, she was going to bed and she was telling me night.
Oh, okay.
that's
Okay,
nice.
no worries. Yeah. Barnaby just said to Faye, and we were talking about reaching out to contacts, and he says, I bet you have quite a few contacts that could be of use, eh?
I've got my finger in a few pies. I'm sure I can acquire what we're looking for.
And Maeve, do you know any of the local druids?
I'm not too sociable, in all honesty.
Okay. I'm just wondering. It would be nice to know if any of the local druids know about this, or maybe they're being set up. It was interesting that the ruins were fake, but I just wanted to say again, I have a pretty good idea where to go to find the guy that was taking delivery of these items. I think I could find him, and we could either confront him in the bar that he works out of, or we could follow him home one night and confront him maybe a little bit more privately. That could be, another strategy. Just throwing it out there. Then
I think
Barnaby will sit back and drink his wine.
that's very sound thinking.
Is there anybody specific you're wanting me to get in touch with? Or anything we are wanting to acquire?
Well, how would we go about using? Do you know? Do you have any contacts in the guild itself?
Several, but everybody's kind of got their specialties. So, if there's something more specific,
well, man, is this going to put you in jeopardy?
Walking the streets is jeopardy.
Yeah, I don't know much. Obviously, I know very little about your realm. I only know that you're morally more pliable than I am, but I can only imagine that that realm doesn't favor those that provide information that isn't desired to be public.
Oh, everything's got a price. Anything can be bought or bartered for, if you're willing to do so.
Interesting. Let me find out what the church knows about what's going on. Perhaps there's at least some knowledge. It may be a dead end, but give me 2 hours and I'll meet you. I'll meet you guys back at the where the place that we know we need to go. Barnaby, where is it?
Let me throw this out here. Being all of you being working for Bigby, he's got staff, right? He's he's got guards and probably a medieval butler and cooks and everything. And y'all have so y'all can kind of use his house as a base of operations.
Oh, okay.
And have done so in the past, right? So you all could meet back here at Big B's place in a couple hours. Just FYI, that's something y'all have done in the past.
Well, so why don't we check? So let's all check our sources and then meet back, and then depending on what we find out, we can move after the fence.
Sounds great.
I'll meet you there.
All right, so you'll make plans to go out and gather information and meet back in a few hours. Landry, let's start with your character, and we'll go through the rules, and we'll also I'll let you roll on this table here. So first off, do you think your character would use the nice way or the not so nice way to gather information? Persuasion or intimidation?
Probably intimidation.
Okay.
But not on purpose, you know?
Right. All right. So that's just kind of,
accidentally threatening.
Yeah, accidentally threatening. I've got a nice chart here that you can roll on since you don't have any druid context in the city. I'm going to have you roll two 20-sided dice, and I'll let you pick which one you want to visit. And this will be a person that you already know in the city, right? That you have some background with. It'll be a new NPC and we'll talk about it a little bit. But roll 20-sided dice twice.
Oh. Okay, 17 and 13.
And a 17. Okay, let's see. You can choose between. Actually, let's re-roll one of those because one of those is already preset for somebody else. Roll one more there. Okay, so we're going with 7 and 17. A blacksmith here in the city that you could talk to, and you also know a arcane street performer, with a little bit of magic to aid their performance. Which one of those people do you think you want to go talk to?
I think I'll talk to the street performer.
Street performer. Okay, and how does your character know the street performer?
I think she's probably watched him a couple times. I think she'd be the type of person to enjoy that kind of thing.
Okay, and this is an NPC connection that you have so that you know them, right? So you started off watching them and then you got to talking to them a little bit, and it's one of the few people in the city whose company you enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel bad that I'm kind of gonna freak him out a little bit, probably.
Right. But you also are going to intimidate him a little bit. So, do you still want to use intimidation, or do you want to use persuasion with this person?
I think intimidation is fine. Like maybe.
Okay.
I'm like, your show is really good, but also, I don't know. Well, I'll figure it out.
Do you want to, on your character, since your character is still pretty new, do you have the persuasion skill and you don't have the intimidation skill? Do you want to swap those out so that you kind of by default you accidentally intimidate people frequently rather than persuading them, or do you want to leave it as is for now and make an unskilled check with intimidation?
I think maybe I will just switch to persuasion.
Okay, yeah, I want to give you that option if you feel like your character, it kind of accidentally intimidates more than persuades, right?
Okay.
So let's do that. So go ahead and go ahead and make an intimidation. Now, are you going to bust heads to get a bonus? Busting heads is using violence, right? Okay, so just go ahead and make me an intimidation check.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Oh, explosions. A 10, success in the raise. All right. So you would make your way down to the market where this person performs, right? And you start, he's doing his little show there with a little bit of magic, and you start talking to him, and you kind of are just fishing around for a little bit of information, right? Like if he's seen anything unusual going on that you've seen, that you've heard something about maybe some druids. Um, uh, um, that there's maybe there's something going on with the druids and the artifacts and that type of thing, right?
Mhm.
And he tells you, you know what? He says, you know, uh, now that you say that, just the other day I caught a glimpse of some magic that I've never seen before. They were there's a couple people. They were summoning up some illusions that were kind of disguising their nature, made themselves look like druids. But
Uh-oh.
I think that sounds like maybe some of it could be related to what you're talking about.
Okay. I'm trying to think of what she might say in response to that. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for all that handy dandy information, sir, but just so you know, if you ever happen to get yourself caught up in that kind of act, you might be facing a big amount of trouble. And maybe she holds it, or she puts her hand on his shoulder and squeezes a little bit too hard or
Right?
something.
He kind of winces. And he's like, "Yeah, okay, I understand. Uh, yeah, just let me know if you need more information." Then
Sounds good. And then she maybe kind of skips away and she's like, I love your show every time, by the way.
and
And then she's
he was kind of
off.
like scared of you a little bit for a second, and then he kind of lights up
Cool.
after you say that, and he puffs a big breath of fire up into the air, and the people nearby kind of gasp in delight. Just showing off a little bit for you. All right.
Cool.
That's about that was after some time talking around and a couple of dead ends as well, right? Who'd like to go next? How about Barnaby?
Sure.
Actually, Barnaby, you have some specific people. Maybe we'll save you for last. Fayin,
Yeah.
do you have anybody specific that you want to talk to, or do you want
Now,
to?
I think I was waiting for Ezekiel to get some more information to me on what he's wanting, wasn't I?
Okay, let's go with Ezekiel then.
Yeah. So my thought is the church must have some kind of, I probably wouldn't know much about it, but some kind of guild affairs um, initiative of some sort to not be completely oblivious of the fact that there are those that have less moral fiber, and there are lines that they could cross that the church would potentially get involved, and certainly the church would want to protect itself and its coffers from the guild. So I'm going to go talk to uh, the church elder of the main church of Iomede in Lankmar.
Okay, and you're using persuasion.
Yep, for sure. I'm going to try to find out what the church knows about guild activities in general, and see if anyone if there's any inkling or knowledge of uh, or a rumor or anything of some well orchestrated heist for magical artifacts. Maybe the church would turn a blind eye to it or not necessarily intervene, but maybe they know. Maybe somebody does know.
Okay,
All right.
that's good. Go ahead and make a persuasion roll. Now you can use money talks is a way to get a reroll on your networking attempt if you fail, right? So we're assuming that you're spending some time, you've got to make an appointment with the main priest, right? And you're gonna see him in an hour or so. Maybe as far as it costing money, you probably give a donation,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Maybe I'll double my tithe.
Right, something like that. But I
And
think
I'll also offer to do confessional
okay
for for the next 4 to proctor confessional for the next 4 services.
okay, that works.
All right,
So
here
go
we
ahead and
go.
make your persuasion roll. All right, basic success. So after a while, the head priest is busy, and he can't talk to you right away, so you have to wait, and you take care of some stuff around the church, and then he's finally ready for you. He brings you into his office, and he asks you, what can I help you with, my son?
So as you know, Bigby, one of our biggest benefactors in Lankmar, came to the church and asked for assistance in protecting a very powerful artifact at an exhibit that was held wherever it was held, and I was assigned to that detail. And as I think I've already made the church aware, uh, a heist was pulled off, and many artifacts were lost. And we came to learn because I was able to catch one of the culprits who gave us some, but not all the information because it was part of a well-organized, it's basically decentrally organized heist group. So none of the thieves knew each other. They had contacts that were largely never face to face, as far as we can tell. But we're certain that the Thieves Guild is at least somewhat involved. I suspect the church has some way to keep tabs on what's going on with the guild, not only to protect our coffers, but to ensure that if a line is crossed, that we prevent a line from being crossed. I need to know if we have such contacts so that I can talk to some people to find out what might have happened, because Bigby's artifact was one of the ones stolen and not one of the ones recovered. And he's very concerned about that falling into the wrong hands, and I feel like this is probably a line that might be crossed.
He's nodding as you talk to him, and he says, "Yes, what you say makes sense. I've heard rumors of this as well, as these rumors are spreading throughout the city. I believe that I may have a connection for you."
Excellent.
Are you familiar with the abandoned Temple of Desna?
Am I? Should I make a faith roll?
Make a faith roll.
No, I've never heard of it.
You've heard of Desna. Desna is another deity, goddess of freedom and luck, and an old deity, one of like the original deities. And so he says, there is a here in the city there is a old abandoned temple to Desna. It's been desecrated many years ago. But I heard tell that there was a sacred relic, which basically a religious artifact that was desecrated and perhaps stolen as well. And I think that this coincides with the artifact thefts that are happening around the city.
I mean, we have no. Does a church have any inkling of a cabal or any organization that's behind this and what their purpose is?
That I couldn't tell you, but you may be able to find answers at the abandoned temple.
And what would I call him, Monsignor?
Yeah, I don't know. What you tell me? What's he?
Monsignor.
Monsignor.
So
Okay.
I kneel before the Monsignor and obviously kiss his ring and thank him for his time
Okay.
and ask for a blessing.
All right. And yeah, and let's see. Let me see here. Yeah, and there you go. He gives you a true blessing. He gives you a magical buff.
Awesome.
It performs a ritual, a quick ritual for you, and I'll figure out what that is later.
Awesome.
You've got like a free reroll or something.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so I head back to Big B's.
Okay.
Do I need to meet up with Fan before Fan can go do what he's going to do?
Fan, are you meeting up with him separate?
Well, yeah, because he was asking if I had contacts and stuff. I'm like, okay, well, that depends on what you're wanting information on, who I need to talk to. He said, I'll get back with you. So for purposes of what you want, we can assume we've met and he's exchanged that info, and then I go look, or I don't know how you want to run that.
I think that sounds good to me. Nick?
Yep, that sounds good. So y'all meet up. He shares the information that with you. Fan, you're looking a little sickly.
Yeah, I double clicked the wrong thing. I'm trying to. I'm like, that's my
Fan's
Grim
actually
Keeper.
a vampire.
That's the Grim Keeper.
How is it? Yeah, Fan turns on you, Ezekiel, and
yeah, and I kill you all.
To bite your neck.
Yeah, you are looking like a zombie.
Where is that portrait I just put in there?
All right, Oak. So, do you have anyone specific you want to talk to? Do you want a couple of random rolls on the table to choose
I'm
from?
just going to do random on the networking, and I'm doing of course persuasion. Now, you said we're seasoned, correct?
You are seasoned.
Okay,
yes.
So I have 0 monies, so I don't know how much I would have to throw around.
Oh, okay. You've got some. You probably have a decent amount right now.
Okay, so I'm going to use persuasion to try to get the info he's looking for.
Okay. Why don't you roll 2d20 and see who you want to talk to? Decide who you want to talk to. You know a couple of people. You know a bunch of people in town, I'm sure. With your you always being up to no good.
Oh, low rolls on that.
A 1 and a 5. Okay, so oh, and I saved one for you. You have a one of them is there's a Thieves Guild informer you can speak with, or you can go speak with an alchemist that you know. That's funny.
So
what your former
talk to my other
that was
character.
an alchemist, has he come to this big city?
Apparently, he's delivering remedies that have recently been discovered for stuff going around.
Yeah. Do you want to talk to one of your contacts with the Thieves Guild, or you want to talk
Thieves
to your
Guild, because that's probably
friend?
going to have more information for what Ezekiel may want.
Are you a member of the Thief? There's a very large.
I think you either are or you have the Thieves Guild against you in Lankmar, I believe.
Yeah, are you an independent operator?
I'm gonna be part of the guild.
You're part of the guild. Okay. And there's sub factions. It's a very large guild, and there's factions and sub factions and stuff. But so so you have you're part of the guild. You have plenty of contacts.
So you want to
Go
roll
ahead and make
persuasion?
and you're using persuasion as
Yeah.
well? Okay.
It's a success, but
Okay. Basic success.
yeah.
Yeah. So you go and talk to one of your Thieves Guild's buddies. Who is he? Who are we meeting with?
What specifically are you wanting, Ezekiel? What are you looking for, or who?
We wanted to, so what I'm looking for is who's behind this and where can we locate them?
Yeah, so basic information, I need a name and a location.
All right.
So information is what I'm bartering or trying to procure.
All right. So and tell me a little bit about your NPC though. Who are you meeting with?
This guy it's probably, I'm gonna do this. It's the same street performer that Maeve was watching. And the only thing he does, he's part of the Thieves Guild. He deals in information. That's why he's a street performer. He sees so many people coming and going. He gets to overhear things. It's doesn't look uncommon for strangers to approach him to put money down and him, whisper a quote thank you to them, or to leave a message in the hat that's nearby. And so that's who I'm talking to on
Okay.
what he's
And it's
heard
the
in
exact
his
same
ears.
person.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, you contact him and he kind of he in between shows, right? He notices you kind of yeah, maybe even there's some thieves camped involved, right? Those silent thief
Yeah,
language.
I drop a tip in his hat. It's kind of got the quick thieves cant of, like, looking for name and location for a quick description, and then leave, and then after a couple hours, I'll come back by.
Right, right. Okay. And yeah, and he's ready, and he kind of he kind of not saunters, he quietly comes over to you, and he says, yeah, well, there's been a lot of activity around this lately. Word on the streets is you and your crew working for Biggie B have been poking around. Somebody else talked to me earlier.
Yeah, I just
But
kind of joined this crew. It seems they've been kind of making a lot of noise, not being cautious.
yeah, I get you. I get you. Huh, well, I'll tell you what. I got a soft spot for chaos. I'm gonna help you out. There's a faction within the guild, and they're planning something. I don't know what they're planning. Something pretty big though. It's a it's around these artifacts. I think there's getting ready to be some kind of what would you say, like a internal conflict within the guild. One faction against another could turn the whole city into a battlefield if it goes poorly. So be careful.
Yeah,
But
thanks a lot.
there's rumors of a faction leader that's behind all of this. I heard possibly a noble woman. Be careful.
Will do. Thank you. Now, do either of these factions, are they anything that I am or my faction's aligned with or opposed? Like, I don't want to be sticking my nose into something that's going to get me or my group.
Right. Are you um you're seasoned.
Night, Jeff.
Are
Thanks for
you
stopping by.
very are you very high up in the Thieves Guild at all? Are you like
And being
are you on
seasoned,
the
I would say
periphery, or are you
no.
in?
I'd say I'm not a rookie, but I'm not high up in the ranks by no means. But you
Yeah,
know,
so I think you've stayed away from the factions. You haven't aligned yourself, unless maybe you have aligned yourself with a third faction, right? Um,
I just wanted
but
to make
you,
sure because I would say that kind of being a general uh, run of the mill, the lifeblood of the guild that doesn't involve themselves in too much politics.
yeah, and I think you're, and also because you're the adventurer type, and you're gonna go out and go on adventures. You're not, we're not in a thieves guild campaign, so I think you kind of try to stay out of that stuff, right?
Okay,
And
just
you're
making
not
sure.
aligned with any factions or anything.
And I will pass along
Last
my
but not
info.
least, Mike Barnaby.
Yeah, so Barnaby's going to reach out to his contacts in the Pathfinder Society.
Okay.
And he will take the friendly route,
Did we
sharing.
even roll for you? We did. Oh,
Is
yeah,
that?
we did. You got a 4. Oak, we did. Yeah, you're taking the friendly route as well.
Yeah, friendly route, and going for trading information, magic favors, whatever he can do. Spread a little coin around.
All right. Let me find the best clue from a Pathfinder Society.
If you have such a thing. If not, I can do something else.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. Yeah, let me find the most interesting one. So, okay, so you want to use persuasion and throw some, essentially throw some money around if you fail. Go ahead and make a
Hmm?
persuasion roll.
Okay, this is not going to be pretty. Yeah.
That is a failure.
Hmm. Now let me ask you a question. You talk about different things you could use. Could I use like magic? Like if I'm using like the mind reading spell or something, can I ever use magic to gather information?
Not when networking, right? Networking represents hours
Got it.
of hitting the streets. You definitely
Yeah, it's
could in
fit.
a more
Right.
single encounter role playing situation,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. But okay, but I come up empty that time.
But you first off you can spin bennies. We haven't done a lot of dice
Yeah,
rolling
let's
tonight, so
let's.
bennies.
I'll betting it. I'll betting that. And just roll again. And I'll bet
And
him one more
that is a
time.
failure as well.
And bet him one more time. Bam! There we go.
There you go. Explosion. Success with a raise. All right. So so you go to the Pathfinder Society to dig around, right? And I think um, you are the Pathfinder Society in Lankmar is they have like guild houses kind of things, right? Adventuring houses. And since Lankmar is the largest city in the world, then the Pathfinder Society guild house is probably one of the largest and most heavily
Yeah,
staffed. And
Barnaby's a member. Remember, he's part of it.
okay, yeah. And I imagine it's got
Like drinking
living
halls and
drinking halls and living quarters and
yeah.
everything, right? And there's a library. And so you're talking around to different people, asking them, a couple people have some ideas. They've heard that there's druids stealing artifacts. somebody mentions that one of the artifacts stolen is a pretty big deal. So you go to the library and you start asking and you ask the librarian about um, this. So you get a lead that one of these that one of the artifacts stolen um, is is some kind of magical rod, right, with like runes and carvings on it, and that it's that there's a lot of people that are distressed. There's some powerful people that are distressed that it's been stolen, um, and that it's pretty powerful. You go to the librarian and kind of fishing for more information, right? And the librarian does some research, spends some time, goes, you probably you had you have a seat at the in a comfy chair in the library while the librarian says, hey, just hang tight and I'll let me dig into this, I'll get back to you. Librarian's gone for about an hour, right? Comes back and says, yeah, so I've found some information here. um this relic belongs to some forgotten sect, uh, and the legends say that it has some hidden powers that uh, have are maybe being sought after by those folks in the city who have darker motives. Um, there's a I found this, and he kind of takes the scroll out and pulls out this old manuscript. He says, "This, and he's looking at it, and you can't read the language, but this is referencing some type of ritual for this artifact, and it looks like there's some whatever, if the druids have stolen this artifact, then they're going to be looking for a place to perform this ritual, and who knows what's going to come of it, but it certainly won't be good for the city, for the good folks of the city."
Okay. Do we know who the sect is or what they're called?
That I don't know. I've only heard what you've said, which is that there's a sect of. It sounds like there's a sect of druids in the city that might be behind this. Maybe there's ancient druidic magic related to this artifact.
Any place I could maybe see, the symbols that you were talking about. I had a connection with one of the thieves. He was supposed to get a cloak with a symbol on it. I actually have an idea where to get the cloak.
Yeah,
Maybe we should check that out.
make a persuasion, not a persuasion, a notice roll real quick,
Okay.
because you're looking at this manuscript. It's got a drawing of the rod right there with the runes on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in looking at it, it doesn't look like it matches the druidic runes on the
Okay.
thief. On
Can I get a
Polly.
copy of this somehow that she has? Is there a way to copy that, or can I have it, or?
Yes, you can. I have a gift for you, actually. And he says, "Wait here," and he goes back, disappears somewhere. He brings out a blank parchment, and he brings out a box, and he says, um, "Consider this a gift from the Pathfinder Society to aid you, and I just ask that you return it when you no longer need it." And he opens the box, and there's a quill. There's a magical quill inside the box, and
Oh, nice.
this is a magic item that I want to give you, Mike. It's a quill that you can attune yourself to, and
Okay.
the first thing that you can do is after you tune it, it allows for like rapid magical writing, and so you're able to kind of recreate the parchment. He brings you a blank parchment. You kind of attune yourself magically to this quill, and you begin scribbling furiously down on the blank parchment, and you make a pretty nice copy of the document that he showed you, so that you have a copy of it, basically.
Okay. Um, Yeah, that sounds great. We'll make a copy of it, and then I did want to check on one other thing too, because I know those gloves seem like the kind of thing that maybe Oak's character could use because they're like thieves' gloves, kind of. Are they? Do they still have a magical charge to them? Like, could they still be used?
Yeah, it still detects magic. You detect magic on it. It's still radiating magic. And so as far as you know, it's you're not sure
Does
if it has a number of charges, but it seems to be
okay. All right.
usable.
All right. Well, then, with that information in hand, Barnaby will head back to the meet.
Okay, and you'll make it back to Bigby's house later that evening. You share all the relevant information with each other. Barnaby, you are given Faye the glove. You said.
Yeah, gonna tell. I'm not gonna do this in front of Zeke because I don't want to piss him off. But I'm just gonna say, hey, you're probably gonna be the one to have to. If something needs lifted, you're gonna be the one to do it. Why don't you use these for now? I don't know if we're gonna need to give them back at some point, but and be careful not to get caught with it. But this would allow you to bypass any kind of magical trap or protection when you're trying to get your hands on something. And I'll give
Just
him the gloves.
both eyebrows kind of raised and the head tilt. Like, really? How did you come about
Hmm.
these?
We took them off the thief that was trying to steal from us. We're still from, the one that we caught, the one that Zeke grabbed.
He wasn't
Do
there for
you,
that, I don't think.
what does this guy
Oh,
look like?
I'll describe. I'll say his name's Paulie. He's somebody that I know from the eel. Maybe you know Paulie too. I don't know, but they
I don't know.
gave.
Do I know Paulie?
Um, Make a die roll. Let's see if
What
you know
kind?
Polly. Everybody knows Polly, right?
What kind of die you want me to
How
roll?
about let's just make it a random chance. Roll a d6, uh, and you get a 5 or 6. You know Polly.
Nope, I do not know Paulie.
You do not know Polly.
He's either
there's
works a different area of the
thousands.
organization or independent. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey,
Uh,
hey guys, since this is going to go over to next week, let me just. And I know we're getting close to our time here. Let me do this. Maeve, can you recount to the party what you learned?
That's you, Landry.
Yeah, I know. I just sat down again. I was cleaning up my room a little bit while I was listening. No. Can you tell me again? I didn't write it down, so I don't remember.
no
I usually
problem.
write it down on a little piece of paper.
You learned. What did you learn? I have it somewhere. Refresh your memory
Let
here.
me write
Street,
it down in my
street performer. Oh, you learned that
right, that's right.
that there's some saw some people using illusions to disguise themselves as druids.
Okay, that's right. That's right. Okay. So, and I relay this to Barnaby. The street performer, who I really like, by the way, told me that there's been a lot of people using disguises, to appear as druids.
Very odd. Okay. Well, thank you. And Zeke, were you able to find anything else out?
Yeah, there was Monsignor shared that there's definitely the church is aware of something is afoot, and there's been some uncorroborated information flowing through the church's contacts within the guild that something might be happening at um, the ruined chapel of, I don't remember what the name of
Desna.
the god was.
Yeah, Desna.
The ruined temple of Desnet on the outskirts of town. which I've shared that with Fayin as well.
Okay, and then Van, what did you learn?
Yeah, it's a bit of a faction war brewing inside the guild.
To a
And
guild
that's-
civil war?
Now, is this something that's uncommon, or does this happen here and there?
Yeah, it's relatively uncommon, right? Like there's some kind of there's a faction, and to just to flesh that out a little bit, there's a what he warned you about is that there's a faction that's kind of gone rogue that's making a power grab, right? And that's tied into all these stolen artifacts somehow, and that there's some and that there's rumors of a a hidden person, noblewoman pulling the strings and leading this faction or split.
And you said this was also potentially a noble woman. I remember hearing that. Can I add that
Yes.
to the notes?
So I don't know if she's been part of the guild or if she's just using them as part of the power play or how that's working out. But there is
I
a
don't want to
noble
jump
connection.
to conclusions, but Irena, our interactions
Mhm.
with her didn't leave me feeling comfortable that she was all above board. And I find it
Right,
odd that she was so insistent that she would take the captured thief.
right.
It might
Well,
be
okay,
worth
and
figuring out that as well.
yeah. Now, what I found out was that there was a crystal rod stolen as one of the artifacts, and a lot of people are very concerned about this. This rod is very powerful, and apparently is sought after by some sort of old cult as part of a ritual, and the to be used with the rod. And I have a symbol here connected with it, and he'll produce the paper with the symbol. Now, I'm curious if that symbol potentially relates to some old version of Desna, given that we have this, we know about this potential going on in the outside of Desna. And it's odd to me that we also have people pretending to be druids. So I think we've got a lot of puzzle pieces here. Anybody care to try and put them together?
Well, I I like starting with Irena and ruling her out. Starting with the simplest explanation, which oftentimes is right, seems to make sense. Now, how we get to her in any way that would shed light on her intentions, that I can't, that I don't know. But it sure does seem
Well,
to fit.
so how would you feel about maybe since she's so powerful and so well protected, how would you feel about maybe trying to gather evidence first and see where the
Yeah,
evidence leads? And if it's
yeah,
her, maybe would that be okay?
no question. Yeah, no question. I
So
agree with you. Your logic is
anybody
sound.
anybody else have any thoughts on what threads we should pull first?
Well, if there's something happening at the temple, the ruined temple, maybe we check there first.
Right. Okay. The ruined temple is definitely a place we could start, I think.
And then
Anybody?
obviously we have to worry about what's going on at the drop, that was supposed to happen, plus the cloak. Maybe that cloak that you learned about from Polly. If we can find that, that might be our end if something's happening at the temple.
Well, I was thinking we could put, yeah, if we were able to get these cloaks, we could blend in. Anyone else have any thoughts before we jump off?
Not right now.
Maeve?
Oh, sorry, I like muted myself instead of unmuting myself. Well, I'm interested to know, I guess, like, if anything, what those fake druidic symbols were, just because now I know that it's more widespread than just your friend.
Right. It seems like someone's
So I
using that
think
as
that
a
that could lead
red
somewhere.
herring, as a
Yeah,
cover.
I think that's right. I think there's some subterfuge going on here between the fake Druid ruins and now the illusionary Druids, and then these cloaks from the tailor. Um, this there's certainly a group or some kind of cult. There's probably some kind of ritual, but
Yeah,
for
there's
some reason,
misdirection happening here for sure.
yeah, yeah, and I think they want it to look like some kind of druids. Maybe another thought I had was before we do anything else, we could maybe, does the church have a library, like a religious library, where we could research
Ah,
this
good
old
idea.
Desna cult?
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
We should
So
definitely check there first.
yeah, because I think if this old Desna cult is definitely tied to druids, then I think it's something else. I don't. Then I think maybe we look in more into this rod and understand what's going on. But we have this, and he shows the symbol with the page, from the Pathfinder Society. I think that could be a solid clue to matching up whatever we find in the lore. But my worry is that if they're going through this much trouble to lay it to some type of Druidic cult, maybe it's something far worse, a
Yeah.
demon cult or something else. Who knows?
Maeve, don't take this the wrong way, but can you read? Can you read the common tongue?
Yes.
Mm.
I lived right next to the giant castle that only spoke that time. Yeah.
All right, well, I think that's where we pick up. Let's start there with our investigation and see where that leads, but let's not spend too much time there. I think this time seems to be of the essence.
Yeah. So I think we make a quick stop at the church library, and then maybe from there we go to the cloak shop, see if we can, or the tailor, see if we can find out more about these cloaks.
What if we divide and conquer? Two of us go to the library, two of us go get the cloaks.
Yeah. Why don't maybe I can take it's just kind of a thiefy thing.
Faye,
Yeah, I'll take Faye in to check on the cloaks, and you guys can check at the library if you want.
Sounds like a
I think
plan.
that sounds like a good idea.
Okay, and then we'll meet back, and then from there we can decide whether to go after the Desna Church or the
drop.
the fence. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Solid plan, Barnaby. Well done.
That sounds like a good stopping point. We have a plan. I'll throw all the clues in Discord or something so y'all can.
Yeah, for sure. Talk
you
about it
have
over
them.
the.
Yeah,
I put them all in a public note if you want to see them. So don't criticize my spelling.
So
Very
bottom left, by the way. Oak, bottom left on the last set's perfect.
Okay. We'll get that done, and we're wrapping up here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey,
Thank you for running.
Can someone? How do I take that picture that Oak made of Barnaby and put it on my character sheet?
I'll help you here in just a second.
Okay.
Thanks everyone who hung out tonight. Thank you for watching. If you were watching, if you'll hang on through the credits, I will find us someone to raid and pass on the love. Otherwise, we will see you Tuesday for Kelsto's game, and then back here after all the other games through the week for some more Savage Sundays next Sunday. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Awesome.